Alright, family. Hey, how you doing this afternoon? Welcome to an afternoon edition of Millennial Economic News. Alright, family, we're going to begin with the markets. We see that all the markets closed up today. They closed up. The Dow closed up just over 2.25% at 2.4%, but they gained about 669.93 points. To Dow closed at 21,413.44. The Nasdaq was up about 1.72%. Let's go ahead and round it up to 2% at 126.729 points. Then for the close, the Nasdaq is 7,487.31 points, and the S&P 500. Sorry about that, family. The S&P was up at about 2.28%. All right, family. So you round it up at about 2.3%. 2.30% at about plus 56.4 points. For the S&P closed at 2,526.90 points. All right. So we see the market is up after all. This is from CNN Business, CNN Money, money.cnn.com. All right, family. That's where I got this was from. All right, let's switch over to. So now we get into the futures. So now this is somewhat after hours trading when the futures come into play. All right, as we can see, the Dow futures. So the Asian markets, Eastern European and Asian markets are waking up. They're sleeping. They're gonna wake up soon while we're getting ready to go to bed. And so the Dow futures is up about 5 points. The Nasdaq futures, as of right now, and right now I'm looking at 7:00 p.m. U.S. time right now. The Nasdaq futures are down about 6%, about negative 6.75, which is about 0.09%, and the S&P 500 futures is down 3.50, which is down 0.14%. So we're looking at right now the Dow is up, and the Nasdaq and S&P futures are down. All right, family. So that's how I take a look. So this pay if you can, get up at night and look at the markets. You can tell about what's going on with family. All right, family. So let's switch over to the auto sector. All right, family. This is from ZeroHedge.com. Look at U.S. auto sales plunged to lowest in a decade, but worse is yet to come. All right, as we predicted in the first report we published just days ago, the U.S. auto industry is on the verge of total collapse. Numbers out of major automakers on Wednesday this week confirmed a worst-case scenario that the global pandemic is doing severe and potential irreversible damage to an industry that was in an ugly shape even before the coronavirus outbreak began. That is a true statement, family. Look, they were charging. People couldn't afford these loans for cars. Now, family, remember they were charging 7 to 8 year loans. All right, family, at substantial, outrageous prices. You talking about something? I remember going to a car dealership looking for a Suburban, and they were talking about charging me $550 a month for 8 years. All right, no, that ain't happening, family. So these auto sales were in decline already, and it just made things even worse, family. All right. All right, GM saw a plunge of 7.1%, and Fiat saw sales drop 10% for the first quarter of 2020. Remember, family, we went over this. The calendar quarters are 3 months apiece, so it's a fiscal year. That's what the government and military goes by, but most industry go across the calendar year. The first 3 months, first quarter is January through March 31st. January 1st to March 31st. That is calendar quarter one. Quarter two is April 1st through June 30th. Quarter 3 is from July 1st to September 30th, and quarter 4 is October 1st through December 31st. All right, family. That's how it works. All right. Both. Let's get back to the story. Both larger than expected declines, and according to Bloomberg, it was worth noting that the industry did not quite grind to a halt until March, and so quarter 2 could wind up being far worse. The numbers are coming out, and the predictions are coming out of quarter 2, which we're in now. We just entered quarter 1 yesterday when it was April 1st. All right, and the auto industry was already in the slump and decline, and looks like it's going to get even worse. All right, family. Toyota sales fell 37% in March. Even with its biggest selling RV4 dropping 25%, Nissan had the weakest quarterly results, posting a 30% drop in sales for the first 3 months of the year. So for the first quarter, Nissan reported weak quarterly results. All right, family, 30% drop in sales for the first quarter. More than 25% of Nissan dealers are being negatively affected by state ordinances limiting sales. So pretty much they're now go ahead and some of these are making up excuses on why that they're losing because of state sales when the auto industry has been in decline for a few years now. All right, family. All right, now we're going to switch over to this story here. This is another story from Harold. I can't remember. I can't even say it right. Haroldberg. Haroldberg Herald. All right, the Haroldberg Herald. The Haroldberg is HARRODSBURG Herald. All right. Big three automakers. The big three automakers in the U.S. Ford, GM, and Chrysler. All right. CNBC is reporting that Ford, General Motors, and Chrysler Fiat plan to temporarily close all U.S. factories as the coronavirus known as COVID-19 spreads across the nation. According to the big three, according to CNBC, the big three bowed to pressure from union leaders and employees who called for protection from the pandemic that spreads to more than 212,000 people in nearly every country across the globe. All right. So the big three automakers they began shutting their plants down about 2 weeks ago, and we come to the story about Ford. Ford announced they would be shutting their plants down, and they're going to be shutting their plants down for the foreseeable future. And they've now announced that they're going to be working with the United Auto Workers Union to try to see if they can come up with plans to help their current employees survive. All right, family. So the big three automakers are in a decline. All right, and so this is really scary. All right, family. All right, people out there are hurt right now. The big three automakers around the country are already losing down, and this does not just affect the U.S., but some of them got plants. Ford has plants in the U.S. and Mexico, so Mexico is hurting too. So it's not just the U.S., it is Mexico, it is international as well, family. All right. Now let's switch over to the airline industry. All right, family. They're another bunch who went to Congress begging for money, even though they've been charging outrageous prices. All right, family. They should be living off the fees they charge everybody. All right. This is coming from ZeroHedge.com. Instead of firing everyone, Boeing offers voluntary buyouts to its entire workforce of 161,000. All right, when Boeing requested a $60 billion bailout from the U.S. government a few weeks ago, the implicit assumption was that the company may get some of this funding as long as the chronic stock repurchaser did not engage in layoffs. All right, so they would get the money, but if they didn't engage in layoffs. That, however, did not stop the brilliant financial alchemist at the aerospace giant, who for the past 7 years turned debt into buy back gold, and instead of issuing records amount of pink slips. Alright, Boeing generously offered volunteer buyouts to the entire 161,000 staff in a bid to share costs and adapt the massive manufacturers to coronavirus that could depress the aircraft market for years. Alright, family. So Boeing is they want that bailout money, even though they will bail out at about almost. They got a bailout almost just over a decade ago, family. So they want this money so bad that they're trying to offer their entire workforce buyouts. All right. So that's news, family. News from the aerospace industry, and this is going on almost worldwide throughout the airlines industry. They're trying to get this money, especially the ones in the U.S. But Boeing was in deep trouble anyway, family. Remember, the 737 MAX was grounded nationwide. All right, the FAA came down and shut them down, and so they were already hurting, and they just wanted more money to get some more bailout money. All right, family. So don't believe this crap that Boeing they need bailout money. Their own greed. Some reports are coming out that Boeing knew that they had issues with the 737, and they had issues from the jump start, family. All right. All right. All right. Man, we got this next story also from ZeroHedge.com. U.S. factory orders disappointed in February. Before lockdowns even began, manufacturing across the country was down as it is. People had been sensing people were sensing what was going on, and people were now saving their money because people who do pay attention to the markets had begun to see what was happening, and so manufacturing orders all across the board had been going downhill for quite some time. All right, family. So this is kind of a good to go. This is kind of not just, I'm sorry, not good to go, but this has kind of been a prediction of what was coming. All right, family. U.S. factory orders have been down even before February. All right, family. All right. So we got two main stories coming out of this one, family, and this goes back to the story about the stock market here. It was amazing that the jobs report came out, the unemployment numbers came out. All right, family. So the unemployment numbers came out, and for the past 2 weeks, family, uh, the U.S. in the past 2 weeks, 10 million Americans have filed for unemployment benefits. All right, unemployment benefits have been websites have been crashing off. People have been calling in, and you either get on the wait list and send a message back saying try to call back later. Everything else, family. All right, 10 million people have filed for unemployment benefits across the country, family. So it was amazing to see when those unemployment numbers came out that people have filed for bank unemployment benefits, that the stock market would go up. Family, the markets are rigged. That 10 million unemployment number, when that hit the mark, when it hit the market, that should have sent the market down into a spiral. All right, but the markets went up. That lets you know that we reported earlier that the Federal Reserve is buying every single thing they can to try to keep the market liquidity. They're buying up everything just to inject money into everything. All right, family. All right, and that is causing a dollar crisis around the world because too many dollars are being flooded into the world market and the decreasing value of it. All right, family. All right, all right, family. So that was your newscast for today. As we got off work and winding down the day here, family. So I just want you to please keep it safe, family. I always say, family, keep it safe. Get the family together. Keep our community safe. All right, family. And I just want to thank you for joining me for another edition of Melon Economic News. Thank you for joining me once again, family. All right, let's get it started.